Alrighty then. Let's see where this goes. Oh, let me just do this. Right. Oh boy. Why? I don't remember. 32. So this is 35. 37. I don't remember. My vision blurred and the world around me spun as I sank to the floor, darkness closing in. Then suddenly I was awake in my work attire, my heart racing in my own bedroom. Wait, where am I? The familiar walls surrounded me, and the night shift felt like a distant nightmare. I blinked, disoriented, and for a moment couldn't shake the feeling that it had all been real. Checked my phone and it's the day before the night shift. It was supposed to be tomorrow. What the hell? Frantically turned the TV on, and there it was on the news. Tragic news from the city hospital. What the fuck is his name? Ganendra Sanjaya, the once prominent CEO, has jumped to his death from the hospital building. So the homeless dude was a CEO? Sources say he was struggling with the overwhelming debt from online loans, a situation he found himself entangled in after a series of poor financial decisions. My stomach twisted as the screen flashed images of him smiling with a woman who looked like the... I don't know that word. I don't even want to bother reading that. They looked so happy, so full of life. Now that joy was gone, leaving behind nothing but despair. Witnesses reported hearing strange sounds coming from the hospital moments before the incident. Authorities are investigating the circumstances surrounding his death. I stared at the screen frozen. The laughter, the singing, it all came flooding back. I felt sick. Was this all connected to the night I had spent at the hospital? As the news continued, I couldn't shake the feeling that the nightmare wasn't truly over. Yeah, okay, Mr. X dies. Angela epilogue, okay. A few days later, I bumped into Angela and her mom in the hospital. Angela looked so much better, healthier, happier. Her mom smiled at me and I could see the relief in her eyes. Doctor, thank you for everything. It's nothing really, so what happens now? Well, we're moving abroad soon, just the two of us, starting over, away from her dad. I glanced at Angela, who gave me a big grin. It was clear they were ready for a new beginning. That's great, I'm really happy for the both of you. Angela's mom pulled out her phone with a grin. Oh, cool. Come on, let's take a quick video together. Before I could protest, she recorded a short clip of the three of us, thanking me for saving her daughter. Someone's gonna appear behind us, isn't it? Right? Angela smiled happily, and I awkwardly waved at the camera. And there we go. Upload. You're gonna be famous now. Great, just what I needed, ma'am. Hey, at least it's for something good. Goodbye, pretty doctor. See you later. Feel free to DM me if you need anything, doc. A collab, whatever. As they walked away, I felt a warmth in my chest. It was a reminder that things really can get better. Great. So, what do we do now? We start from the very beginning? I don't know. We start from the very beginning or something? Let's see. Let's go for 108. Press the intercom button on room 108. Good evening, sir. It's Dr. Leia. What's going on in there? A long, unsettling silence followed, broken only by the humming of ventilators. I was about to repeat myself when a garbled voice came through the speaker. She's inside me. His voice cracking with pain and something else. Fear, maybe? Her hands scratching, trying to get out. Swallowed hard, trying to keep my tone professional. Sir, there's nothing under your skin. You're just experiencing a symptom of your condition. No. His voice was louder now, frantic. I could hear the sound of him thrashing in his bed, the bed frame creaking under the force. You don't understand. It's her nails. I could feel them. Digging. Sure. Just breathe, okay? I'm coming in to check on you, but you have to stay still, alright? No reply, just a wheezing laugh crackled through the intercom, making the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I reached the door to room 108, bringing the sedatives with me. Suddenly, everything was eerily quiet. Groggily, I glanced down the hallway, hoping to ask for assistance from Satria or the nurse, but I was alone. Took a deep breath, steeling myself as I pushed open the door to room 108. So, gasp. Should have let Satria take this one. Mr. X was thrashing violently, face contorted in agony. His hands were clawing at his own skin, scratches covering his arms, where he tried to dig out whatever he believed was inside him. Help, please. Please get her out. I can't take it anymore. Gulp. I'm just going to sedate you, sir. It'll help with the pain, but you have to let go, alright? As I reached for a syringe, he grabbed my wrist with surprising strength. Let go? Let go? No, let go. She's in me. Her nails, they're cutting through. She's going to crawl out of me and into you. She'll tear us all apart. His grip tightened for a moment. I could almost feel it, a sharp, cold scratch just beneath my own skin, like nails dragging through flesh. My stomach turned, but I forced myself to stay calm. I had to. It was just a delusion. It's just the drugs. It's just paranoia. I injected the sedative into his IV, and Mr. X's breathing slowed, his thrashing subsiding as the sedative took effect. But even as his eyes fluttered shut, he kept whispering to himself. She's coming. You mean the pretty lady that we saw in the picture from earlier? You know, the Mr. X dice thing? Image. I backed out of the room, trying to calm my trembling hands. But then, as I started down the hallway, something stopped me in my tracks. Jumpscare. It was faint at first, a soft melodic hum that seemed to drift through the stillness. Who the heck is singing at this hour? I paused, my ears straining to catch it. The sound grew clearer, and my blood ran cold. A peasant then, was it? What the fuck is that? What is... an affair lady? A peasant then was singing. Her voice was haunting, laced with the sorrow that seeped into my bones. And as if that wasn't enough, there was a distant clink of a gamelan. Orchestra began playing along with her. Yeah, sure. Well, hello there. The hell's going on? Well, at least the ghost has background accompaniment. It was coming from Mr. X's room. It couldn't be from his phone or TV. The president's voice was so close, I don't even know. President, whatever. The P word's voice was so close, it was like she was standing right behind me, singing directly into my ear. I half expected to feel her cold breath on my neck. She's coming. And then, just like that, the music cut off. Everything fell into a silence so thick it was suffocating. Maybe I've had too much coffee. That's it. I rushed back into the nurse station, trying to shake off whatever just happened. I stood at the nurse's station again when the bells for room 101, 103, and 104 started ringing all at once. Not this again. Room 103 was empty completely and utterly, so why the hell was the bell ringing? Room 104 had Mrs. Sylvina, who was unconscious and paraplegic. She couldn't ring the bell even if she wanted to. I glanced at the nurse who was still standing there eerily mute, as if the chaos around us didn't even register. What the hell's going on with this night shift? Satria, my ever-reliable senior, just let out a sarcastic laugh. Can I skip this part? Yeah. We're done with 101. Let's go for 104 this time. I pressed the intercom button for 104 and I was greeted by a loud crash, the unmistakable sound of something shattering on the floor. Hello, Mrs. Sylvina? No answer. I quickly rushed to room 104. I pushed the door open and the room was dark. There you go. As I turned on the lights, I saw a cup of tea laying in pieces. There was no one else in the room but Mrs. Alvina, who was unconscious in her bed, oblivious to the mess. Jesus Christ, seriously? I crouched down to inspect the shards of glass, looking for any sign of how the cup had ended up on the floor. There was no obvious cause, no one to knock it over, no sudden movement that could have sent it crashing. It was as if it had just decided to jump off the table off sheer spite. Sigh. Okay, focus. It's just a cup, just a cup. Of course, there was no cleaning service at night, which meant I was the one in charge of cleaning it. As I moved to clean up the mess, I felt a shiver run down my spine. I couldn't help but glance at the window, half expecting to see something or someone watching me from outside, until Mrs. Alvina, thinking she could just jolt awake at any moment. Hold it together, Leia. I quickly gathered the pieces of the cup and turned to leave. But before I could reach for the door, I thought I heard a faint whisper, just a breath of sound, like a warning. Uh-oh. I froze, my heart racing as I glanced back at Mrs. Salvi. She remained still, her breathing steady but shallow. As if this night couldn't get any weirder. I quickly left the room, huffing to myself. Feeling thirsty, I wandered to the doctor's lounge. It's the same thing. Alright. Every damn bell in the intercom rang out like crazy. I turned to Satria's face just as pale as mine. What's happening? Yada yada. Let's see. Room 108. Pressed the intercom for room 108. The sound of Mr. X retching immediately filled the speaker. His voice, even more frantic and broken than before, cut through the noise. She's out. Pardon? She's out, but I can still hear her. She's here. Help. Sir, I'll be there now. Darg. Sir, I've turned into a pirate. You hear it too, don't you, Doctor? Yeah. As I listened, something else crept in, something familiar. A P-word song, soft at first, like a lullaby from hell, getting louder and closer with each second. The song drowned out Mr. X's screaming. The hairs on my neck stood on end as her voice wound through the static. Oh, hey there. It inched closer and closer, until it felt like she was right here in the nurse station instead of Mr. X's room. I can't do this alone. I bolted toward room 108, dragging the new nurse with me, despite her protests. The eerie walls from Mr. X still echoed in my ears as we rushed down the dimly lit hallway. And when we burst into the room, the bed was empty. The song had also stopped. Sir? I looked to the window, but it seemed like it was jammed shut. Over there. The nurse pointed at Mr. X cowering under the bed, his wide eyes glinting with terror. Sir, what are you doing under there? I knelt down, trying to see him better. Before I could get an answer, the nurse beside me let out a blood-curdling scream. She stumbled back, clutching her foot, eyes wide in fear, with fear. Doctor, there's something scratching me. It's under the floor, scratching me. A cold chill ran down my spine. The scratching, the horrible feeling from earlier was back, and it wasn't just in my head. The nurse felt it too. Whatever was down there, it wasn't done with us yet. But helping Mr. X came first. I had to sedate him. Mr. X was still trembling under the bed, his eyes darting around like he was seeing something I couldn't. On my back. I injected the sedative into his arm, trying to ignore everything else while the nurse cowered behind me. Just breathe. His eyes fluttered closed as the drug took effect. I turned towards the nurse. Are you okay? My mom said, being a nurse is an honorable profession. I'm just here for the paycheck. Yeah, it's okay. He's asleep. Let's get out. But as I turned to leave, the silence was shattered by that haunting sound again, the Bessidin song. I didn't wait to see what would happen next. There you go. Let's go already. Poor guy. Left alone. Why is the hallway's lights off? The nurse grabbed me by the arm. We bolted out of the room, the song echoing behind us, like it was chasing us down the hallway as we fled back to the nurse's station. I didn't even realize that the corridor had somehow become even darker than before. We didn't stop until we were back into the dim safety of the station, gasping for air. The song had faded, but whatever was happening in room 108, it was far from over. The three of us there, he raised an eyebrow when he saw us running, but didn't ask anything there. Why am I struggling to read? The three, do you know anything about Mr. X's background? I mean, besides the obvious nightmare we just dealt with. The three leaned back, his eyes fixed at the ceiling. There's a rumor that he used to be filthy rich. But you know, classic tale, lost everything, bad investments, gambling, drug addiction, who knows? Really? How come? When they found him, he had this ridiculously expensive watch on him, like the kind that could pay off a car. No one's sure if he stole it or if it was his, but it's the only thing he had left. We just keep hearing a Gameland song and someone singing. Straight didn't even blink, just shrugged with that exasperating nonchalance. Maybe it's a vengeful lover haunting him, or his ex-wife, who knows? Or maybe the music is just in his head, and now it's in yours too. There's no way. Either way, it's absolutely none of our business. Couldn't tell if he was being serious or just messing with us, but either way, it did nothing to calm the two of us. This is way above my pay grade. And I'm not even getting paid, lol. What, really? No, that sucks. Straya just smiled, that infuriating calm smile, witordlessly reached the counter and poured 2 cups of tea. He handed one to the nurse and one to me. Here, drink up. It'll help calm your nerves. The nurse and I exchanged a glance, still too rattled to do anything. Finally, I took a sip anyway, trying to shake off my doubts and fear. The nurse did the same. If the trio could be this relaxed, maybe we could survive the rest of the night. Or maybe he was just as crazy as this place. 3 bells. Oh, my back. Oh, my goodness. I grew up. Mr. X was in room 108, who was convinced someone's crawling under his skin. 101, Angela take that famous mom with the serious knocking. And room 105, empty. Perfect. 108, I'm done with Angela's story anyway. Pressed the intercom for room 108 and something was different. This time his voice was calm. It's over, Doc. I rushed to his room. When I got there, my stomach dropped. What is it? Mr. X has disconnected all of his equipment, the monitors flatlining behind him. He stood by the window, trying to pry it open, hands trembling with determination. Sir, what are you doing? He didn't answer, just kept fumbling with the window latch like a possessed man. The room felt colder, heavier, and then I heard it. The peasant singing again. The haunting melody slithered through the air, growing louder. And just like that, she appeared, her figure materializing in the room, moving closer with every note. She was beautiful in the most unsettling way, her smile wide, her eyes dark and empty. Mr. X whipped around, pointing at her with a trembling hand. You're dead. This isn't real. You're not real. But the woman only smiled wider, a slow, creeping smile that spread to her ears, contorting her face into something grotesque and inhuman. Her eyes locked onto him, and the air in the room felt like it was being sucked out. No, this isn't real. The woman stepped closer, still singing. She raised a hand toward him, her fingers curling like she was about to claim him. And she whispered, Gandendra, whatever that means. Fatima? Her smile widened even further, condescended with malice and dripping with venom, I don't know. Before I could react, her hand shot out, wrapping around his throat. Mr. Ganendra's eyes bulged as he gasped for air, as his hands clawing frantically at her grip. Stop! I screamed, rushing forward, trying to pull her off him. But as I grabbed her, she turned face, twisting into something horrific, her beautiful features morphed into a monstrous figure. Her eyes were now black pits, mouth too wide for her face with sharp, jagged teeth. The air grew thick with the stench of decay. I don't even know what that says. She tightened her grip around his throat, and Ganendra's face turned a sickening shade of blue. I yanked at her arms, but it was like trying to move a large rock. Mr. Ganendra's choked gasp filled the room, his eyes begging for mercy, but the ghost Fatima, or whatever, as she had become, only laughed. Oh, we're back. Let me just stretch for a bit. Oh, god damn it. I fumbled for the intercom, my hand shaking, and pressed the button, barely managing to croak out the words. Help, anybody. There you go. Within moments, Atreya burst into the room, prayer beads in one hand and a small pouch of salt in the other. Without a word, he threw the salt across the room, the grains catching in the air like tiny sparks. The ghost woman Fatima screeched, an ear-piercing wail that made my skin crawl. Her monstrous figure twisted and contorted as if the very air was burning her. There you go. God damn it. So sleepy. With one last deafening shriek, she vanished, leaving behind nothing but an icy chill in the room. Mr. Ganendra slumped to the floor, gasping for breath, his body trembling. Great. Stria and Faze took the prayer beads back into his pocket, wiping his hands on his scrubs, like he'd just taken out the trash. I rushed to Mr. Ganendra's side as Atreya administered his meds, and he was already calming down once more. We carried him back to his bed. Atreya, she said, he did something. What does that even mean? Atreya's face darkened, his usual sarcasm replaced by a grim seriousness. Probably. You offered me up, and now you have to pay the price. That woman, she might have been a tombow? A sacrifice in some kind of ritual. Sacrifice? She was my girlfriend. I used her for a ritual to get rich. I didn't think she'd come back. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just a ghost. This was revenge. Now everything is going wrong. I've lost everything. Just leave me alone. I don't need all of those injections. Stria just shook his head. It's our job to treat you, sir. Whatever you did in the past, you need to atone for it. Without waiting for an argument, Atreya quickly administered a sedative. Mr. Ganendra's eyelids fluttered as he drifted off into unconsciousness. You've got a lot more to answer for when you wake up. As we stepped out of the room, I couldn't shake the weight of what just happened. Never thought something like that still exists in this day and age. His own girlfriend? What kind of person does that? People will do anything for money. Curious, I pulled out my phone and googled Ganendra's name. What I found sent chills down my spine. He was some sort of CEO for a startup, living the high life. I stumbled upon the social media filled with pictures of him and a woman named Fatima. They looked so happy. Well, before everything went south, that is. I felt wrong to see those smiling faces now, knowing what happened. This dude had it all. I can't believe it. Yeah, now he's left to atone for his mistakes. Mr. X lives. The bell rings again. Alright. 110? I don't even know. Shall we go for 101 again? 103 is empty. Oh, I was too late. Oopsie. Heard to Atreya and the nurse rushed to the other rooms. Better luck next time. The bell rings again. Oh wait, I can go back though. 110? Press the intercom button on room 110. I remember it being Mr. Joko Muliano's room, the elderly man who'd recently had his leg amputated. Stria said he was one of the more stable patients, or at least he had been. Hello? His wife's voice crackled through the speaker, soft but urgent. Excuse me, nurse, my husband has a fever, he's not resting well. I'll be right there. I made my way to room 110. As I entered, the first thing I noticed was how warm the room felt, stuffy almost. Mr. Muliano was in bed, his face flushed and profusely sweating. He was asleep, but his body was restless, twitching as if something was bothering him, even in his dreams. Good evening, ma'am. I'm Dr. Leia. May I check Mr. Muliano's temperature? Please, go ahead, doctor. I checked his temperature, definitely a fever, nothing too alarming, but enough to need attention. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a vial of paracetamol. preparing to administer it. This will get the fever under control. As I injected the medicine into his IV, I felt the presence of his wife hovering next to me. Mrs. Moliano seemed like a sweet elderly woman, the kind who reminded you of homemade cookies and knitting by the fireplace. God damn it. But tonight something felt off. Maybe it was just my imagination though. So Mrs. Moliano's guarding her husband or something? Thank you, doctor. I glanced up, meeting her eyes. She was smiling a kind grandmotherly smile, but there was something strange behind it that I couldn't quite put my finger on. Well, maybe she's just worried about her husband. Of course, he should get better soon. You're very kind, doctor. We are so grateful for everything you're doing. Just doing my job, ma'am. Is there anything else you need? No. He's tired, dear. So very tired. Pardon? She didn't respond immediately. Instead, she just kept that unnerving smile fixed on me, her eyes boring into mine. Checked Mr. Moliano's vitals one last time, my hand shaking slightly. His fever was starting to come down, and he seemed to be slipping into a more peaceful sleep, but the room still felt too suffocating. And Mrs. Moliano kept smiling, never once moving. He should be fine for now. Just let me know if anything changes. Mrs. Moliano said nothing, just nodding silently as I turned to leave. Oopsie. I could feel her gaze even though her eyes are closed, burning to my back, that eerie smile still hanging in the air. Jump scare? Okay. The door clicked shut behind me, and I exhaled a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. What is wrong with my first shift? I rushed back to the nurse station, trying to shake off whatever just happened. The bells ring again. Which one? 104? Press the intercom button to hear a low scratching sound echoing through the speaker, like nails raking against wood. Are you there? No more answer, just scratching. Is someone there in the first place though? I hurried to room 104, bringing a broom with me for no apparent reason. Oh, there you go. I pushed through the door open, and there she was, Mrs. Salvi, still unconscious in her bed. But then I saw the walls. Scratch marks crisscrossed the surface as if someone or something had been trying to claw their way out. I moved closer, the sound of scratching growing louder in my ears. What the hell? I reached out to touch the wall, feeling the tough texture of the scratches beneath my fingertips. Then I blinked. In an instant, the marks and everything else vanished, as if it was just a dream. Leah? Holy crap! I swung the broom at him, almost hitting his face. Whoa, easy there. Tria, what are you doing here? The nurse station monitor was beeping. Her vitals are dropping. I glanced at the monitors and he was right. And when she crashes, get ready. The scratching. Did you hear it too when you entered? Huh? Oh yeah. Souls that are about to die often start wandering. You know, searching for something or someone. But hey, we're all just passing through, right? At those words, I felt a shiver run through me. It was like his face darkened, as if he wasn't really there. Oh. Okay, so he's a ghost. Satria? It's nothing. Let's keep an eye on Mrs. Salvi. I stepped back and left the room with Satria. His words kept ringing in my head, as if an omen. The bells ring again. Which one? Is there someone in 111? As I was about to press the intercom button, I stopped in my tracks, a chill creeping up my spine. Oh, the room was empty. Alright. The room was empty. Let's see. 322. Yeah. 104 again? Sure. The intercom crackled with a barely inaudible voice that sent a chill down my spine. My time is over. Froze for a second. Mrs. Salvi? No, she was unconscious. Couldn't have been her, right? My heart pounded in a way, in my chest as I rushed down the hall, flinging the door open. Whoa, Jesus. That's cheap. A figure lunged toward me, Mrs. Salvi, but not quite. Her pale face twisted in a grotesque grin. Well, at least it didn't hurt my ears, so thanks for that. Her head jolting to the side as if it's broken. I gasped, stumbling back, nearly losing my balance. My heart hammered, but before I could catch my breath, she was gone. At that very moment, the monitor faltered, flatlined. No, no, no. I slammed the emergency button as I probed her carotid artery, desperate for a pulse. Straight at nurse, code blue. Without thinking, I started chest compressions. My hands trembled, but I pressed down harder. Not long after Satria burst in, the nurse ran behind him. Okay. So is she still alive? Damn, why must it be tonight? Doc, you look tired. Let me take over. Leah, prepare the EPI. Roger that. The ghostly presence of Mrs. Selby or whatever that was lingered in the back of my mind. We kept working, time slipping away, adrenaline keeping us moving. Oh shit. Satria's face was grim. The nurse's eyes wide as they exchanged a look that sent a fresh wave of fear through me. That's enough. She's gone. Time of death. The air in the room thickened and froze over, curling into a suffocating tension. It was as if something was watching, waiting, ready to pounce at any moment. Is he jump scare again? The room was eerily silent now except for the faint sound of the heart monitor's flatline, which was still ringing in my ears. And before we go any further, I have to stop it here because I have to prepare for work. So this is intensive scare unit. Ooh, spooky. Thank God there's a horror game that doesn't abuse the sound effects and just lets the visuals do all the scaring, and it's great. Thank you. If you want to try the game for yourselves, the links are in the description. That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves. It's still bullshit that I can't save whenever I need to, though.